Hi, welcome to Binary Automation. So in this lecture, we'll see what is WireMock and what is the purpose of WireMock. So basically, WireMock is used for stubbing your API response, or you can say hard coding or virtualizing your response. So in case if the development has still not been done and a lot of interfaces and a lot of components have not been developed for a particular API endpoint, and you want to quickly mimic it and see how it looks like, and in case if there's some other dependency and other teams are waiting for your endpoint, and you want to quickly make it up and running, so you can just have this WireMock expose certain endpoints, right? So you can do a lot with that. So basically it is primarily used for stubbing, as I said, right, for virtualizing your API response, right? So let's see how it can be done. So basically, since we are using C# as a language, there is something called wiremock.net, which is the NuGet package. So if you see my NuGet package manager, I have a wiremock.net already installed. Okay, so you need to install it, and then we can actually get we can use different kind of functions of wiremock, right? So let's see how we can do this. So let's start by initializing the wiremock server. Okay, wiremock server dot start. Okay, so this actually starts your wiremock server. Now if you want to see on what URL or what port this actually starts, you can simply do something like server dot url, and you should be good, and you will be able to see what is the URL, right? So if you see this, there's an open port called 8154, and that is where the wiremock has started, right? So now let's see how we can actually build a API request and API response. For example, you want certain URL path, and along with that you want to tell what kind of HTTP method it is, whether it's a get call or post call, and what is the specific header you want to pass, and header matching, request matching. So in those instances, you can configure what your request type should be and what your response should be, right? So let's see how we can do it. So basically we have configured the webmock server, right? So now let's use the same thing. So you have something called server.given here. So if you see this carefully, this server.given is what it returns is an I respond with a provider. Okay, so I'll tell you a bit what this is. Okay, so now we have a request. Okay, now this request is what we will be using to actually configure our the input request, the input like the URL path and the HTTP methods, right? So if we want, so we have to use a package called so we have to import a package. If you see this request, so this is a package wiremock.request builder, right? So this is the package that we have. So now we can use this to create your input behavior, right? So now let me write this, that I want to create a request with the path as something like, say I want something like slash home slash test, something like this. Okay, and then uh, the other detail that I want is I'll be using the get call. Okay, so this is basically a get call that I'm trying to do. Okay, and once we are done with this, I also want to configure how our response should be, right? So now I can actually say that. Okay, so now so I want you to respond with certain manner, right? So if I do the response, so I have to import a package here called response. See, response builder. So for request we have the wiremock.request builder, and for response we have the wiremock.response builder. Okay, so now this response, so I need it in certain manner, right? So I'll do this create similar to the request, and I will have it used. For example, in the response I want, like, say, with status code as 200. Okay, so let me just put this whole thing down. Okay, it'll be easier for understanding purpose. Okay, and then you can pass in your header as well, dot. So now this basically header is nothing but your key value pair, right? So you can actually write it in your key value pairs, like what kind of headers you want. Okay, so let me just write the content type here. Content type, say text slash plain, something like text slash plain. Now you can actually pass what kind of body you want. Okay, so with body, so let me just write it below. Okay, with body, so now since we have mentioned this as you know, our text slash plain, so we can actually write certain like a string value, or whatever you're expecting in your response, right? So with body, something like hello hello everyone, something like this. Okay, and so let's quickly wrap this into, yeah, so now this is it, right? So what you have done is you have said that, hey, I'm creating a request with certain path as home slash test, and this is a get call, and respond me with a status code as 200, and then with header as content type as text plain, and with body as hello everyone. Okay, so as I told you, we also need to close the server, right? So we have to do that as well. So let me just do that. So server dot stop. Okay, now but before I do that, one thing that I can do is, in order to show you that, this is actually working, so let me do a task dot delay, or you can even actually do a thread dot sleep, but ideally, you can actually do whatever, right? Just for the sake of understanding, let me just put a delay of, say, here 20,000. Okay, and yeah, so we are good, right? So I want to show you how this whole thing looks like, and then we'll just copy this here. Okay, so first we have to get the URL and then append our path slash home slash test there, and then you should be able to get that response. Okay, so let's quickly check this out. I'm running it. Okay, so I have got this as my URL. Okay, now going to your Chrome browser. Oh, I should have opened it and kept it. Okay, so slash home slash test. You see, we have got hello everyone, right? So that's how you actually use this whole the WireMock setup, right? So it's really simple. Anyone can actually uh, expose this the port number, and then you can configure with what kind of request you want, what kind of response you want, and stuff, right? So now let's take it up one notch higher, and then let's try to see how we can actually configure this with a JSON response, right? So that's basically what everyone uses, right? So yeah, so let me just uncomment this previous one, and then let's create one for your content type as JSON, right? So let me just copy this and paste it here again. Okay, and control K, control U, Control K, Control C, sorry. And here instead of text.plain, I'll say something like application slash JSON. Okay, and then and over here we need to use a different method, okay, which I will just show you. You have to use a method called with body as JSON. Okay, so let me just bring this down. Okay, so now what we have to do here is, in this with body as JSON, basically we have to write an anonymous object, and you have to define your anonymous object whatever similar to your array. Okay, so what we'll do is once you write your anonymous object here, it will actually internally it will just serialize that, so it will just convert that into your C# objects, right? So let's see how this is being done, right? So we say something like for example new. So we have, since I told you we're creating an anonymous object here. Okay, new, say class is equal to say engineering, and you can name the other as designation equal to something like developer, I don't know, something random. Okay, and so if you see this, so basically we are writing an anonymous object here, and then we are just passing it. So let me just see why there are errors here. Okay, I think since this is a keyword, we cannot actually use this, right? So we'll say something like branch. Okay, and branch is engineering, designation is developer. So I think we have got a basic JSON here. So let's just run this and show you how we can do this, right? So let me just run this and get the port number. Okay, the port number is 8219. So I've kept a thread sleep of 20 seconds. So 8219, right? So if I write over here at 8219, see, branch as engineering, designation as developer, right? So this is how basically you would create your JSON here, and you can actually put the response as JSON, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do with it. It's an amazing tool, right? And you can play around with it, and you can quickly virtualize your service endpoint and just expose it, right? So I hope you like the video. Please like, subscribe, and share, and let me know in the comments if there's something else that you want to create. In the upcoming videos, we'll see if we can we'll try to cover rest of the important C# automation topics. Yeah, thank you.